Bonjour, bonsoir, dear friends, and welcome to JCB Live. We're having quite a lot of fun. Happy hour started hours ago today in Napa Valley with a very famous man. He's next to me. I don't think he needs to be ever introduced. I'm going to give you one clue, the Biodynamic Man. Not biodynamics, Bionic Man. You know, the man who is worth $3 billion. You know, Major League, phenomenal 26 seasons for the famous Dodgers and the Yankees and many others. Dear friends, I'm very pleased to introduce a fantastic man who as well created so many great things in his life. From many books to a great charity organization that helps others called Let's Do It. His name is Tommy and he's right here. Are you ready? Tommy, yes? Are you catching? I know you like to throw typically, but can you catch? Yes! You see?
I would have taken that as a fastball.
It takes a Frenchman to carry the ball with you, to carry the corks. So Tommy, cheers. Great to see you today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us.
Oh, you know, when you get to my age, it's good to be asked to do anything.
Well, we thrill. So you love wine.
I'd like to drink it, yeah.
Did it help?
I don't. Did it help?
In your career?
Only after.
Oh, after the game, huh?
Yeah.
Always a glass of wine?
Well, I wanted to. If I had a bad game, I wanted to drink to forget. If I had a good game, I wanted to drink wine to celebrate.
Well, I think you have a lot more to celebrate than to forget. So, Tommy, what is your most favorite moment in the history of all your baseball career? Because I know it was a long one. 26 years is a big span of time.
Well, the biggest thing probably was when Dr. Job came up with the surgery to repair my elbow.
So what happened? So you left-handed.
I first hurt my arm
Yeah.
when I was 13 years old. I was throwing in the backyard with my dad,
Yeah.
and my elbow, right at the inside, there's a little bone right there that's called the medial epicondyle.
Right.
And that, oh man. Well, my mom and dad didn't have insurance. They didn't have, so instead of going to a doctor, my dad took me to a baseball coach, track coach.
Uh-huh.
And he checked me out and did all the stuff, and he said, you know, he said, unless you go get an MRI,
Yes.
he said, I think you probably just kind of maybe torn some fibers in there. Don't pitch all summer, and you know, you should be good next year when you're 14. So I did what he said. I came back 14. I was fine and went all the way through high school.
He didn't advise you to try from your right arm and become right-handed.
No, but if I could not, and this is what I told Dr. Joe, and he says, well, what are you going to do if you can't come back and pitch? I said, if I can throw a ball,
Yeah.
I'll learn to throw a knuckleball.
Ah.
Because I wanted to pitch. Nothing that I wanted to pitch more than anything.
That was your fate.
That's what I wanted to do.
You were born to be a baseball player.
Well, your feet were you were born to crush grapes.
That's right. And I still do, and I love it. That's why I have red feet, as you could see. And I'm so glad now you're part of the Red Sox club.
Yeah. But
so you thought it was your destiny to be in baseball?
well, yeah, because I really hadn't prepared myself to do anything else.
Well, what a great sport. So
And
for 4 years it worked.
Yep, and then you know, as I got into the minor leagues teams and all this, you pitched every 4 days,
Yeah.
and back then, if your elbow hurts, you couldn't go and say, you know, nowadays the guy will go and he said, I got a stuffy nose. Oh, don't pitch. We'll bring the doctors in.
So are you trying to say that we're raising the players in a bubble today?
Yes,
a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I was pitching in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
And I pitched a game that night, and I pitched a shutout. And next day I got up, and I could not move my arm.
Crazy when you have that happen to you.
And then I go, oh, so for me to shave, I put the lather on, and I put the razor, and I put my arm on the sink, and I had my head go down.
Did you shave half of your head that day?
I should have. I should have.
The Mohawk look.
And I couldn't pitch. Now I had to tell them, my arm hurts, I can't pitch. They sent me home.
Yeah.
And the Cleveland Indians, who I was with then, sent me over to St. Louis to see the St. Louis Cardinals trainer.
Yeah.
Because he was very good with arms, developing arms, rehabilitation of arms. And he checked me out and he said, yeah, same thing that this track coach told me in Terre Haute.
Yeah.
You've torn some fibers in there. You'll be okay.
So no X-rays, no MRI, nothing.
Well,
of that
back
nature.
in the day, there was no MRI.
Yeah, but the
Only an
X-rays-
X-ray, and you could take an X-ray, and X-ray will only show bone.
Yeah, I see.
And my bones were fine.
All
But
right.
it was the soft tissue.
Mhm.
So, people, where were you on 9/11? Everybody can tell you where they were. Where were you when John Kennedy got assassinated? I was in the St. Louis Cardinals orthopedic surgeon's office, ready to get my first elbow injection of cortisone. Between that day in 1963 and a year plus later in 1964, it was 63 to 64.
So
I
one
made it to the
full
big
year.
leagues, and then I'm fine until I'm pitching again, and I probably had 40, 50 injections in my elbow.
Wow.
And when I
Of
told
cortisone.
Yes. And when I told Dr. Job this, he said, oh my God. He said, it's a wonder your arm stayed as healthy as it did. Because they were starting to find out cortisone took the pain out, but it also weakened the tissue.
That's right. Side effects, which you don't have with wine, by the way, as you know. That's the beauty of it. You could have taken 50 glasses of wine at the time, and you would have pitched in circle nonstop.
Yeah, I would have been in circles, not knowing where the mound was. Where am I? I would have been like, what was the drunk on the guy that was would go into the bar? Oh, come on, please.
Crazy Guggenheim.
Crazy Guggenheim.
Yeah.
But I threw the one pitch in Dodger Stadium, 1974, July 17th, 1974. Threw the ball, and I go, oh! I'd never had that pain before. I got the ball back, shake my arm, throw it. Same thing. Right as I got there to go forward,
Yeah. Blocked or
oh,
something.
it was killing me. So I called time, walked off. The manager came and I said, Walter, I've hurt my arm. Get somebody in. I went over to our trainer and I said, Billy, get Dr. Job. I've hurt my arm bad. He said, I've already signaled him. Because Job would go to every game, sit up in the box seats up there.
Yeah.
And when I got to the clubhouse, he was already there. He examined me and he said, come in the next day and we'll talk about it. Okay, so I went in the next day to see him at the hospital.
Yeah.
And he said, I think you've torn the ligament.
Ooh.
Because I could take, back then, what you did, ooh, that feels good. You
It's
hold
better
the
3
arm.
than 2. And that was
It
here.
was
right?
here. They could move my arm open like this. And it's not supposed to do that.
I see.
And he sent me to a hand surgeon. And this guy was from Tennessee. And he said, boy, you sure done it. I said, what do you mean? He said, that thing's if you pitch in 4 years, you've had a major success. I said, you don't think I'll pitch? Nah. So I go back and I tell Dr. Job what he said.
Pretty depressing when you hear that. Oh, yeah.
Well, this guy, I had been to him before, and I knew that he liked to BS.
Yeah.
And, he was,
So even though he's a doctor, you don't take him too seriously. You go to see another one.
I went to see Job, and that's when Job said, well, here's what we can do.
Yeah.
Do nothing, and you probably will never pitch again. I said, but I want to pitch.
Yeah.
Then we'll do this surgery. And he said, it's never been done before on pitchers. He said, I do this surgery on polio patients all the time. Take a ligament or take a tendon and make a ligament out of it for the polio patients, knees and feet.
Yeah.
He said, I do that a lot, but never in your elbow. And I said, okay, if I do it. He said, got a chance to pitch, but probably won't. And I said, but I want to pitch. And that's when I told him, let's do it. And we decided to have the surgery September 25th, 1974.
Wow.
And my daughter, first baby, was born September 27th, 1974. And I had to call him out. I had to call him out of the operation, out of the room, surgery, and he came up and he says, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, "My wife's gone into labor." He says, "Well, do you have somebody to drive you?" And I said, "Yeah." "Okay, come back this afternoon after the baby's born, and let me know." You know what? Okay, all right. So went home. I was in the room when the baby was born. And
Pretty exciting news.
Yes, it was.
Were you able to carry the baby on your left arm?
No.
But then it happened.
Then I went back and see. I was in a cast.
Yeah. Oh.
And now you have this surgery. You go in the morning. They do the surgery, and you walk out of the hospital in the afternoon.
That's amazing.
I would have been in the hospital 6 days.
Wow.
And the reason why is they were afraid of infection.
Well, better to be safe
That
than
good
sorry
thing
later.
that Job and them weren't here at COVID, you know.
That's right. So what happened? So you did it.
So
and
I
a
did
miracle.
it. I had the surgery, and 16 weeks. Oh, thank you.
Well, I just want to have a toast to that because I could tell it was a huge success, right?
16 weeks after the surgery, he said, you can start throwing.
Wow. Fantastic.
So I threw. I started out throwing to my wife, and because I knew you wouldn't throw hard.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know now, I would have thrown much harder.
Really?
And tried to hurt her. But
was it a foam ball or was it a real ball?
It was a Major League Baseball. Then I moved up to my neighbor who played softball. I threw to him. Then we're on our way to go to spring training. I go to spring training, and they look at me like, yeah, okay.
He's back.
He's back. There was a concrete wall in Dodgertown, and I got 6 baseballs every day. Put them in a little bag, carried them out there, and I threw them against the wall. Boom. Picked them up.
Practice on the movement, right?
Yes, just get the movement of your arm.
Yeah.
And, you know, how many did you throw? I don't know. I threw till my arm got tired.
Yeah. Probably thousands, right? Thousand
maybe
times.
100 every day.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was every day, 7 days a week. Boom. And then I said, well, I've got to start resting. And I took Sundays off. And my reason for that is if God rested on Sunday,
you might as well.
Tommy John can too.
That's a good advice.
It worked for him.
I thought he was actually just working on Sunday and resting the last 6 days. But no, I got it wrong.
But we, and I pitched in a ball game 1 year, 1 day after surgery. And it was a league over in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I pitched 3 innings. 4 days later, I pitched 3 innings again.
Wow.
4 days later, I started 7 games in 28 days, and that's 1 start every 4 days.
That's
and when you
intense.
tell the people now, the trainers and doctors, they go, "What?
Yeah.
Oh my God!" Well, then the Dodgers wanted me to go to the Dominican Republic and pitch down there, and I said, "No, the next time you see me, we'll be in spring training. See ya." And they went, well, what they wanted to make sure
Yeah,
they had a viable product.
for sure. And how did you feel that it was a success? Right away?
I could pitch.
Yeah, which is...
But it took me probably halfway through the comeback season.
Yes.
Because you throw the ball, and when I had good stuff, I could win. When I didn't have good stuff, I'd get beat. Well, pitching is being able to win when you don't have good stuff.
Uh-huh. Of course.
That's the art of pitching. And I had lost that art because I hadn't pitched in a year and a half. Then the second half of the year, it started coming around, and I finished the year 10-10, and I had 31 starts. And the next year was 77. That was Lasorda's first year as a manager, and I won 20 games for him.
Wow, fantastic.
But
so how did you feel that surgery was a success?
yeah, it was good.
You were the first one to ever do it.
First one to ever have it.
And now it became the surgery for baseball players, tennis players, I
Everybody.
assume.
Well, anybody
Golf.
that you're doing that motion with your elbow.
So that's why they call you the Bionic Man.
Yeah, basically. There's other reasons too, but we won't go into those. This is a family show.
Well, tell me about what you think of this wine as we celebrate your victory, the first victory, one of the many of your life, but there's many to talk about. This is, maybe you want to describe this
This tickles
wine.
my nose.
It's a good sign then. You don't seem that you're liking it too much.
I like.
Well, it's good to be honest.
I couldn't be a politician.
Well, maybe I'll give you some Chardonnay then.
No, red wine.
Oh, just red. Perfect. Well, we'll jump the other wines. We'll make it reverse today. I could tell that you love red wine more than white wine. I could feel it.
Really?
So, were you drinking wine in those days as well as a professional player? You couldn't, huh?
Well, I couldn't afford it.
So, what would you drink as alcohol?
Beer.
Oh, beer, which is the major baseball sponsors in general.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
the beers. And
I mean, if you had a sponsor of wine, 99% of the people wouldn't have any idea what it was.
That's true.
But, we drank wine when we would go out at fancy,
for sure.
fancy dinners.
So, talking about that moment, what happened after that surgery? Your career exploded, of course, and you were at the Dodgers at the time, right?
Yes.
When you had that.
Yeah. And I pitched 77, won 20 games. 78, I won 17 games. And then at the end of the season, my contract was up. I wanted a 3-year contract. The general manager said, "No, I can only give you 2. Why?
Yeah, what's the difference between
He
2
said,
and 3?
"Because I know." And we had a meeting. Peter O'Malley, Al Campanis, my agent, Bob Cohen, and me. We're in Peter's office and we're talking. And Al Campanis says, "I was a PE major in college, and I had all the same courses Dr. Job had. And I know what he did to your arm, and I don't think your arm will survive only 2 years. And I didn't miss a beat. I said, Al, my wife was a PE major at Indiana State. She had the same courses that you had at NYU. And I said, she says I'll pitch forever. And that's when Peter O'Malley said, let's caucus, we got to break up. And my attorney's over there laughing his fanny off. He said, did you just think of that? I said, I'm not going to have that fool say something that is nonsensical. And so it did. And no, 2 years, that's all you get. I said, well, I can't. No, 2 years, that's all you get. No. And then the night before, being a free agent, my agent called me and he said, here's what Campanis came up with. If you'll go in the newspaper and if you will apologize to the Dodger fans for what you put them through, they'll take you back.
Huh. What happened? You did.
F you. And my agent started laughing. And he said, I knew you were going to say that. And I said, what would you say? Yeah. I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not having him have me say it. So he went back and says, no, it's no deal. Then I was a free agent. And I had various ball clubs after me. The two that were really good that I liked were the St. Louis Cardinals,
sure,
and the Milwaukee Brewers. And then the Yankees put theirs in. And I had a friend of mine who played for the Dodgers. I said, his name was Tom Paciorek, and we always called him Wimpy, and because he loved hamburgers. And I said, Wimpy, who's got the best infield? The Cardinals, the Brewers, the Braves, or the Yankees? He said, the Yankees by far. I said, I need a good infield. Okay. So we worked a deal out with George Steinbrenner. I signed 1979 with the Yankees, went to New York, and one of the first people I met as a Yankee was Donald Trump.
Huh. Here we go.
Well, he and Steinbrenner were like this.
I see.
They were buddies. They you know, and Don was to all of our welcome home parties and things like that. He attended. And
so he was a big fan of baseball then?
Yes, he was.
Not just boxing, but baseball as well.
Boxing, the only thing he could box is his underwear.
But I know he was a big supporter, you know,
well, was
in his
he? I
casinos.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, with Don King and all
Okay.
that. Yeah, yeah.
I thought that's where he got his hairdo from.
Probably.
Don King.
I'll drink to that. So you went to New York. I mean, the Yankee, was it one of the best team at the time in the league? Were they number one or number two?
This is good.
Thank you. No bubbles, no Chardonnay. We've never seen that. But luckily your wife loves it, so I'm going to give her more. So what has been your favorite team that you've played with?
I like two. Fan-wise, I love the Yankees.
Yeah.
Because when I was back there, my first game I pitched as a Yankee in Yankee Stadium, we're playing the Brewers. It was Easter Sunday. Good Friday, Guidry lost. Saturday, Ed Figueroa lost. I'm pitching Sunday. I'm going in the locker room. Steinbrenner stops me. This is the biggest game of your life. I said, Joe, this is my first start as a Yankee. What do you mean? It's the third game. We got to win this game. And I said, George, if we lose this game, we can be 159-3. You know, but that was George.
Yeah.
George is, you got to win every game now. You got to win every game now. So I went out. The first batter I faced, ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4. Next batter comes up, ball one. And now the fans, John, go back to LA, you suck, you right. And you could hear all this, you know. And
how do you feel on the ground when you hear those
The pitching
noise?
coach comes out. He said, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
He said, look up there. He said, that silly SOB, he's got his hand on the phone. And you keep throwing balls, I'm gone. He said, I need the job. Bob Lemon's gone, and you're going to be gone. The three of us are gone. Come on.
Performance.
So we go out, and they score one run, or maybe two in the first inning, and I end up winning the ball game. I went 7 innings. 6 innings, and won 3-2. And Gossage came in as a closer and pitched the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, closing.
Wow.
You know, you do that now, my God, they would have you run out of town.
Yeah.
But, you know, then I started out the season 8-0.
Yeah.
8-0. And the same people that were yelling, John, you suck, are now going, Tommy, you're the greatest. You know, but
so from hate to love.
I love that because I thrived on that.
It motivates you, don't you think?
It motivates you, yes it does. And then going on the road, Cincinnati and Philly in the National League were the best. Their fans were they're terrible, horrible.
Big energy or...
Yeah,
but tough.
And the same way. Boston in the American League, same way. When you pitched and you kept that crowd quiet,
yeah,
it meant you're pitching a heck of a game. And you got energy from that. And I love to pitch on the road because I love to shut the other team's fans up.
Yeah.
Not to get them out, but if I'm getting them out, excuse me, they aren't scoring and we're winning and all that. But I started out 8-0. And I had I don't know what I won, 21 games my first year with the Yankees.
Enormous success.
Second year I won 22 games. And then we had, the next year I think was a strike year. And but Yankee fans are great fans. Now you said the other team was the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Organizationally,
yes,
the O'Malley family, I would have given them my last nickel because that's the way they made you feel. Mr. O'Malley had a saying, contented cows give sweeter milk. If the ball player is content, he'll do things for you over and above what you ask him.
I see.
And he's right, he did.
What was your best memory there? Because what a team. You won the championship many times.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I was in the World Series in '74 when I had my elbow surgery. Although I didn't pitch, but we were in the World Series.
That's great.
And I helped get them there. Then '77, '78 with Lasorda. Lasorda, I would run through hell in a gasoline suit for him.
That's quite an image. I never thought of that one. Thought you were going to say run naked in the winery when it's fermentation. No. Could be another good one.
Could be.
You could do that today, you know. The wines are still fermenting.
But here's a Lasorda story. He never drove. He had 4 cars, 5 cars. Always called a ball player up. TJ.
Yeah.
Lasorda. Yeah, what do you need? I need a ride. Okay, we'll be over. So this Sunday, Lasorda's driving. He comes by our house. TJ! And my wife comes out and my daughter. Now my daughter's 4 years old. 3.5. And, oh, Tammy, this is your Uncle Tommy. Oh, you know.
Lots of love.
And, yeah, and everybody's
Passion.
going, they're looking like this. Lasorda, we got to go. We got time. We got time. So we go to the ballpark, and we're half an hour, 40 minutes late. It's late.
The game has started?
No, the batting practice has.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a time to be there, and we're 40 minutes past that time. So we go, okay, we'll get dressed real fast. And Lasorda comes out. He says, oh, you 4 guys that are late, have $100 on my desk by tomorrow. What? He said, I'm fining you $100 for being late. And we said, you drove. You drove. He said, I don't care who drives. You're responsible for being to the ballpark on time. And that's
a pretty good lesson.
That
of life.
son of a gun. Everybody paid him $100 cash.
Wow.
So he had $400. And I said, I knew he did it because his wife had new clothes. But that's Lasorda. I mean, that's Lasorda. You do that, and
what
he
a
just
style. He gets you late, and he gets you.
But he was good. He was a good guy.
So you had such a great relationship with the people who own the teams.
Yes.
The managers of the team.
Right.
Is it the same today in baseball as well?
No.
Same friendship and camaraderie.
I don't know because I'm not around it, but I've got to say no. Because they run it more like a business.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was a business. It was a huge money-making business.
For sure.
But it was still a sport.
A sport. What would be your most amazing memory in any team besides this great one? As the sports, as the athlete.
I have 2. One is a Dodger, one is a Yankee.
Okay.
Dodger, 1977. We're in the playoffs. And Lasorda's first year, we're playing the Phillies. And I'm pitching game 1. And we end up losing in 12 innings. We didn't play well. We scuffled. It looked bad. And Lasorda coming in, he's screaming, yelling, cursing. And the next day he comes in, he says, God damn it, get your asses up here. I'm bringing in a sports psychologist to work with us.
Ooh.
You know, and everybody goes, oh my God, what is this? So he opens the door.
Can only imagine.
Who walks in but Don Rickles?
Oh.
And he starts in. And the stuff Rickles was saying, you couldn't get it on the stage in Vegas. That's how vulgar it was. But everybody they were laughing and all this stuff. And I mean, because it was just, but that was Lasorda's way of getting us out of, we've got to play. We've got to get, it's the playoffs. It's the Phillies. We got to go. And we went and won. And then in game 4, we're in Philadelphia. It's pouring down rain. And I'm pitching. I start out to the bullpen. And the minute I take a step on the field, the rain comes down. And I pitch 9 innings.
Oof.
And I've seen pictures of the water dripping off my hat. But they couldn't stop the game because of the NFL. Because if we would have gone Saturday night, Sunday was NFL all day. So
interfere with the TVs and all that.
That's exactly right.
The business side of things.
So we ended up winning the game, and everybody's going, and then that was my experience with the Dodgers. With the Yankees, my experience was playoff again.
Yeah.
And my son Travis fell out of a 3rd-story window.
Oof.
And he fell on a car, hit his head. He was in a coma for 17 days.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow.
And so he came out, and he was okay. And we asked the doctors, we're thinking about going to Hawaii this winter. Any chance of Travis being able? Well, you'll probably have to put him in a wheelchair and push him around. Okay, that's fine. So I get a call from Steinbrenner. He said, I want Travis to throw out the first ball at the game.
Wow.
At Yankee Stadium.
Very cool.
And it was. And so I go, okay. I checked, and I'm pitching that night. So I can't go out with him to the mound. And I asked my friend Reggie Jackson, I said, Reg, would you go out,
Yeah.
Travis likes you and all this. And, he was 2.5 years old. And so he went out, he threw the ball to his buddy Rick Cerrone, caught it, gave it to him, and then Reggie picked him up by his fanny and held him like this and held it around the stand. And the 65,000 people were going, Travis, Travis, Travis. I'm in the dugout now. I've got to go pitch.
Yeah.
And I'm bawling. I got tears coming down my face. And I go out to the mound and I call the umpire out and I said, Kenny, you got to help me the first inning or so. He said, why? And I said, I can't see. I said, I've been crying. He said, so have I. He said, so have I.
I drank to that. Wow, what a story. Hey, yeah.
So anyway, we ended up, but that was Yankee fans. Yankee fans are phenomenal.
So what you're saying in many ways, the fans are really as well building the players in a very different way in that specific sport. Yeah.
Now, Dodger fans, before Lasorda took over, there used to be a lot of the stars would come out.
Mm-hmm.
And Walt Alston was, he didn't like him. They didn't like him. Now Lasorda took over, and Tommy was a PR agency.
Mm-hmm.
You had guys coming out, and you'd walk around, and the guy that would come out all the time and take ground balls and sit on the bench with us was Peter Falk, Colombo.
Yeah.
He would sit on the bench, watch the game, then he would go up into the team room and eat with us. Shit, he would eat the food and, we're looking at him and he didn't tip anybody. They walked out. But, you'd have Hollywood Stars Night. And you would have, they would be playing whomever. And Tom Bosley would be there. And in fact, Ronnie Howard was there. They all in the family people. Annette Funicello was there.
So great energy.
Oh my God! You see these people, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be there, and but Dodgers. That's why you had that, and you saw it. Then Lasorda, his daughter got married, and we all got invited to the wedding, and they were going to have it at Lasorda's house.
Yeah.
Well, his house is like as big as this room, and he had one of his players had a big.
Did he have leopard as well around?
No, his were tiger, I think.
Oh, tiger is good too. Well, I'll get you some tiger wine. Or cougar wine, either way.
Cougar wine.
we having the fabulous Cabernet Sauvignon Shiraz. So that's definitely the cougar wine, the Wattle Creek Shiraz.
But we had the wedding, and we're at there, and they had a bar, and now I'd never been to a wedding before where there was a bar before the wedding.
Yeah, me neither.
And everybody was out there throwing drinks down and all.
And I'm glad you were telling me you only drank beer. Huh?
Well, yeah. I know I didn't.
Now we know the truth.
No. I'd have one beer. One and done.
Yeah. So the wedding was fun?
The wedding, it was an hour late. And we're going, why is it? Because Sinatra and Rickles are coming in from Palm Springs.
Wow.
And they got a late start. And we had to hold the wedding up until those two schmucks got there. So
Not too bad for a wedding.
So Rickles got up and did 20, 30 minutes of his comedy.
It's so fun.
And then
I mean, to die here.
Sinatra sang, and all that. And oh my God, it was just, it was, but those guys came to all the games. They were there most of the games, yeah.
It gave you an additional boost. You got to perform for those people.
Well, yeah, you got
sure.
peers in there that are stars, and you want to perform up to their expectations.
That's right. You don't want to disappoint.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
But it's that common emulation that is fantastic, isn't it? So now, how did you create Let's Do It?
Well, that was when Job told me what I had to do, my response to him was, let's do it. And we had the Let's Do It Foundation, and my son, Taylor, was the baby, and he was in the Broadway play Les Miserables.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah,
the longest standing ovation of all shows ever, right? The longest going in the U.S., I think.
He joined the traveling group because he'd never done anything before.
Yeah.
He was 8. His birthday was November 25th, and so it was like in April or whatever. He got on the tour to learn the part, and he was there 1 year plus. And then he got called to Broadway and did it at Broadway. And
similar to you in many ways, very early on, fate. For you it was baseball, for him it was performance.
He was so good, he didn't realize how good he was.
Mm-hmm.
And the Let's Do It, the money that we raise goes to suicide because he was manic depressive and he killed himself.
Oh.
Not killed himself but he overdosed in pills.
How old was he?
When he died, then he was 29.
Tragic. Talent going so early.
He was born in 81 and he died in 10.
And so you started the foundation after this, obviously. And tell us a little bit about it, because it's still going.
Yeah, well, now we raise money to buy your wine.
Well, it's a good thing. And we'll happily donate a few Cougar wines, too, if you really want it.
Cougar wines, are those named after Donna?
And all her friends. When she wears that beautiful scarf, we all, And we're so grateful that we met thanks to Donna. What a great lady. But now tell us about the organization.
So you say.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe you know more than I do.
Only from her husband.
I know he talks a lot, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
So tell us about the organization. I know I've been holding you a long time, and I thank you for all those great stories. But
no, we raise money.
Yes.
And give it to the suicide prevention and things like that. To just let kids know that there are people out there to help you.
Yes, for sure.
Because a lot of people, you go, oh, I'm this. Well, not everybody is going to be a Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Or a Jean-Claude.
Or a TJ, for that matter.
TJ.
Left or right-handed. But yeah, so it gives money to a variety of suicide helping organization that helps people, going through the phases of that. Yeah, so you must be very thrilled.
It's very good.
Something very rewarding like this.
Well, you wish that it didn't have to be like that. You ever kick anybody in the butt with those shoes?
I do have, but I try to avoid the butt. I go right in the front, because you know balls better than anyone. If you hit them in the right way, That's
Well,
deadly.
we have a friend of ours up in Watertown. Her name is Balls Out Bellis.
Does she have 3 like you?
I don't know, but
Because I could see something in between your legs.
oh,
She must be warm.
Whoa.
Ah!
This
Look
is a
at that.
baseball for you.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to bring a soccer ball.
I was about to
but I
kiss her,
couldn't
but I
get-
don't think so anymore.
But I couldn't get a soccer ball down here.
She's been in the nest for a long
Yes,
time.
she has.
God, she's warm like there's no tomorrow.
It doesn't.
She's burning.
It doesn't have brown spots on it, does it?
Not yet.
Oh, good. Then I clean myself.
That's little tiger marks.
Yeah.
Is it your surname? But as I've seen your wife wears leather, so I have no doubt that there's a lot of excitement in the house. Well, thank you
You're welcome.
so much for signing this bowl. This is fabulous. Look at this. This is phenomenal. And I just wish baseball. Yes.
When I was younger, I was signing autographs at an all-star game. You know, and he got to sign, you know, you go. And one of the old-time players came in and he said, "Whose signature's this?" And I said, "It's mine." He said, "You mustn't be proud of who you are." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Who can read that name? If somebody asks you for an autograph, write it so they can read it and they know who it is. Be proud of who you are."
That's very true.
And I was, God, I was a long time ago. So every time I'd sign my name, Tommy John, so that you could read it.
I love it, and I can. And my children will be able to, and my daughter's 9 years old, love to throw the ball. They adore it.
They play, I thought they'd be soccer.
Well, they really love soccer. I guess everything with the ball is good. Tennis, soccer. But they really enjoy the game, I must tell you. How do we call it for young children? It's a different ball, right? A little softer than that. Maybe softballs. And you still go around, but it's a kind of a smaller court. What is it?
Softball.
Softballs, yeah. Yeah, but they adore it and they have so much fun with it. So I'm going to put that in their little museum of
You know the
balls.
key word that you said there?
Yes,
They have so much fun.
that's right. That's what
It should never be work. It's only work if you sign your name on a contract and you get paid to play.
That's
Then
true.
it's work.
That's true.
But if not, it's fun.
For you, it's never been work.
No, because it's something I've wanted to do. One of the things my dad told me when I left home, he said, always remember who you are and where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
He said, no matter what you do in baseball or life, you'll be Tommy John from Terre Haute, Indiana. And is right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, very true. To be true to your own self.
Right.
Well, on that note, maybe you have an advice to give to everybody after this phenomenal, incredible career of yours, 26 years in the major league, which is enormous, creating your own foundation, Let's Do It, to really prevent and help other people's getting things on the bright side.
Right.
And now living an unusual time, obviously. What a year, 2020. What advice would you have for others? Besides drinking only red wine with great intensity.
Hey, man! Yeah.
The bowl is still hot, just to let you know.
Yeah.
God, it's driving me nuts. Oh, that must have been a
That's
joke
what-
from Don Rickles.
Oh, God, you cannot. The stuff he said in that locker room
Oh,
was absolutely, it was triple X rated.
well.
But everybody,
Nothing
there
wrong
was-
with it.
There was nothing. I mean, blacks, whites, Hispanics. Everybody's laughing because they know there was no intent made. He's
That's
just
it.
laughing, having a good time and all.
Yeah.
But, you know, my thing is live your life
Yes.
as if you're going to die tomorrow.
I love it. What an advice. Live life with success and passion.
And passion. And have a good wine.
And always have two things in your hand. A great glass of wine.
And a baseball.
And a baseball. Thank you, TJ.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So TJ, a story I'd love for you to share.
Okay.
Tell us about this moment of valedictorian at school.
Well, I was number one in my class in high school.
Wow.
And there were maybe 225 kids in the class.
I was going to say, was it 10
It was
kids
not a
only?
big it was not a big school.
But still, 200, 1 out of 200.
But I was in my junior year, and I'm walking across the gym floor, and the dean of boys said, "Hey, Junior, let's see your report card." So I showed him my report card. He said, "It's pretty good." He said, "You got a chance to be valedictorian, but there's 5 girls in front of you that you'll never beat."
Huh.
What? 5? Who are they? He told me. Okay. And nobody taught me this, but what he did is he turned my fuel on.
Yeah, of course.
He flicked the switch on.
The highest level, 5 ladies.
And so I graduated.
That's a motivation.
I graduated number 1. Well, we're having graduation, and the valedictory speech was not called valedictory, but a kid named David Duggar gave it. David Duggar had a lisp, and he talked like this, but he was a thespian, and all I wanted to do, graduate, get my diploma, go sign a baseball contract, and start playing baseball. That's what I wanted to do.
It's good to know what you want to do in life. Congratulations for that.
It didn't bother me. And then more and more people says, "I can't believe you never got to give a valedictory." Nah, that's the way it is. 53 years later, the school called me back to give my valedictory speech that I should have given in 1961.
That's brilliant.
And I told them, and my speech is I had a road map.
Yeah.
And I had the road map, and I pulled it out, and I had the thing, and Terre Haute, Indiana was marked here, and I was going to Watertown, New York, and that's up here, and I had different routes that you could go. And I said, this is what your life has to be. You want to go on the fastest route to get to your goal, but sometimes that route is closed. Mm-hmm. They've got a wreck. They've got construction, so you got to take a detour. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make your goal. Just you've got other things to do to get to your goal. To get
there.
Always have that goal in mind, and go.
That's great advice. And how did you win this over? Because that's, I think, the key. Many people have this, and they can master it sometimes, and you did.
I just said, screw it.
Okay.
The more I tried to be perfect,
the
more I stuttered. When I was broadcasting, now, if you're broadcasting, you can't stutter on broadcast. So I said, okay, I want to do baseball because I like it, I know it, and I can tell people about it, but you have to speak fluently and whatever, and that got me away from stuttering, stammering.
That's amazing.
I mean, I was terrible.
So your mind winning over.
Yeah. It was mind over matter.
Mind over matter. Well, thank you for
mind
sharing.
over words.
Over words. Well, thank you for sharing that. I would have told you, a glass of wine really helps. And I know a variety of friends in the business who used to stutter, and I don't know if it's the effect of wine, but I think, as you said, winning over it through your mind.
Well, when I just said screw it, and I started just talking, I just felt this calmness.
Yeah.
And I'd talk.
Yeah, be free.
And I've told people, I said, me stuttering do you realize how smart I have to be? Because I'm giving a talk and I'm speaking, and I know there's a word at the end of my next phrase that I'm going to do that I'm going to get hung up on.
Yeah.
So I had to change the word. And they said, "You really do that?" I said, "Do you believe it?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Good, because I don't."
Great story. Thank you.